Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. It's a Monday edition as we dive into March, a little deeper, I should say, into March with Donald Eng. I'm Rob Adams. Big show, a lot of hockey to talk about today, a little bit of basketball as well as we dive into a Monday edition, Don, and we've got girls hockey to talk about. We've got boys hockey to talk about.
We've got women's hockey to talk about.
And we have women's hockey to talk about as well. So big show today.
Big show. It's my favorite time of the year. The league tournaments have just wrapped up. We're heading into the state tournament. What's not to like?
What is not? I couldn't agree more.
And we have athletes of the week.
We do have athletes of the week, so this is going to be a chock-full show. I'm excited.
Better get started.
We better get started. Let's get started with the hockey championship from over the weekend. And look, Saturday was just that kind of day. If you like hockey, you had to enjoy what went on Saturday, not only at Terry Connors Rink in Stamford. Now, the game itself for the boys championship in the FCAC did not turn out to be the most competitive of events. Greenwich absolutely took care of business, seemed to be on a mission off their loss last year in the final to Darien.
Right. I mean, I think, as we've been saying, Greenwich has kind of been up and down all year long. They appear to be hitting their stride at the perfect time. The dominant win over St. Joseph, 5-0, a game that, frankly, I didn't think was as close as the final score indicated.
No, it wasn't. The first period was good. The first period had a lot of fun to it, but for 14 minutes and 51 seconds, it felt more like a much more competitive, balanced game. And then all of a sudden, a little something happened right before the end of the first period. We should take a look at the highlights. This was Saturday, the 2016 FCAC Championship.
Depending on what side you're rooting for, it's a raucous house at Terry Connors Rink in Stamford. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 2016 FCAC Boys Hockey Championship.
Crease and back out to center it goes. Here's Cunningham. Cunningham across the St. Joseph line. Into the right circle he goes. Backhanded, and they score! Owen Johnson starts the party in front of the Cardinal cheering section. The crazies are crazy. 1-0 Greenwich. Face off to the right side of Wilson in that circle. Brought across and they score! Just kind of ducked through the wickets. Greenwich takes a 2-0 lead. You can hear them shouting from Barcelona with that news as Greenwich scores from just inside the left point. 5-0 Greenwich.
And it was keep an eye on Casey Cunningham. He was the one who deflected it in front of the net right there.
Crowd rising, and the Greenwich Cardinals are the FCAC champions.
At the final score, St. Joseph 0, Greenwich Cardinals 5.
And Cato, I'm joined with the tournament MVP, Michael Mosey. Michael, congrats on being tournament MVP. Congrats on winning 2 goals tonight. You, your brother, and Dunham were all over the ice. What went right for you guys as a line?
I think we've been playing together all year, and we really just clicked tonight especially. I think we combined for 3 of the 5 goals, so I think we're just on fire tonight. And being back here in the championship, I know neither of them were last year, but they know how it is, and everything just went right for us. I mean,
you were one of the top scorers in the tournament point-wise. We saw you use your body tonight as you were a big physical presence. Is that something that you pride yourself on as a physical player?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just a part of the game, and good players can score goals and use their body to help out their team. I mean, it generates offense, and if you can get the other team to throw up the puck after a big hit, it's definitely helpful for the team.
You've avenged one championship loss from last year. Is this team got another one in mind right now?
I think we do. I think we can do it. Richfield, we've seen them twice now, so we're familiar with them. I think we can take them, and we'll see how the tournament goes, but I think we have a strong chance. So.
Mission accomplished for the Greenwich Cardinals. 5-0, easy victory for them in the end. 1-0 after 1, and the Cardinals just ran and hid in the second period. So congratulations to Greenwich, their first championship since 2009 when they beat Darien. They lost to Darien last year for the title, and that seemed to be a driving force for them. Plus, to be honest, Don, I think they got the sense that once Darien was eliminated from the tournament, it was their tournament to win.
I got that sense too. I mean, St. Joseph with the big upset over Darien. I mean, they were outshot 45-15 in that game, and but they managed to pull the 2-1 upset over the Wave. It's a big ask to have a team make that kind of effort and to pull that kind of upset twice in 3 days.
And you had to have Ryan Wilson, the goaltender for St. Joseph, on top of his game. He's a terrific goalie who's only going to get better, only a sophomore. He was not on top of his game the other day.
There were a couple of goals that I thought were kind of questionable, but I thought for the most part he played pretty well. It's just
Overall.
that Greenwich just a better team.
Overall. And you feel bad for St. Joseph because they're now 0-4 all-time in championship games. So, you don't like seeing that. Greenwich now improves to 8-10 in championships, but they won 3 championships before the championship format with a final game. You used to be just deemed the champion. So Greenwich now with 11 conference championships, but that's still a distant third. Darien and New Canaan still with more. New Canaan is 18.
Yeah, those two programs have essentially been the cream of the FCAC for as long as I've been following FCAC hockey. I mean, every couple of years you'll get a Greenwich or even a Trinity Catholic poking up toward the top, but year in and year out it's Darien and New Canaan.
And not long after the boys finished playing, the girls started playing up the line at the Edward L. Bennett Rink in West Haven. Last year, of course, as we've talked about many times on this show, in part because we were the broadcasters for it last year, ETB and Simsbury played to a 2-all tie. This year, ETB was back in the championship game, but no surprise, the Darien Blue Wave, who had been the best team in the state all year, were also there. Also on site was Steve Buno of the HAN Network and the Darien Times, and he filmed a whole bunch for us. Let's take a look.
She goes and scores the next goal.
And who made the last save?
Emily Jean Nunzio. And I mean, it was godly. Like, it was ninja. It was, no human could have done that. And she did it. That ending was very nerve-wracking, having them, it was 6-on-4, and we were only up by 1. It felt like the longest minute of my life.
We're going to play in regulation less than a minute.
Any sport, any game, that was scary.
would be no overtime. There would be no drama. Well, there was plenty of drama, but there was no need for double overtime and ties and any of that. Fortunately, a champion crown this year. Congratulations to Darien. We saw enough of Darien to know they were the best team all year.
They were, but it was closer than I thought. I didn't think that they would have too much trouble with the East Catholic Co-op, but like I said, that was a very competitive game. Really could have gone either way. As we saw from the clips, goaltending the difference.
2-1 the final score. Cassidy with a goal, Marissa Baker with a goal, and Emily Giannunzio solid in net. Came up with a big save there late. We will take a break. We will continue talking hockey. We'll talk a lot of hockey, in fact, on this program today. So we'll continue on with more Nutmeg Sports right after this on the HAN Network.
Here at the Darien Sports Shop, we are very excited about our newly redesigned men's department. Gentlemen, if you're shopping for work, weekend, or wedding, we've got the latest styles and trends inside our spacious new department just for you. We have vast selections from Peter Millar, Vineyard Vines, Johnny O, Duckhead, Barber, and so much more. And you can even walk out of the store in the new Wolverine 1,000-mile men's boot. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
Can't wait for it to get warmer so you can start fishing again? Get over to the Dock Shop, where they have the latest in fishing tackle, marine electronics, boating supplies, and more. But remember, the Dock Shop isn't your average tackle shop. You'll also find the finest selection of nautical apparel, jewelry, home decor, and gifts in New England. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break, weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. 102,000 viewers have enjoyed the HAN Network in just the last 6 weeks. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Very happy to have a special guest in-house today, besides Don Eng, of course.
Besides
you?
Special.
But she looks better in the sweater than we do. I mean, those are some sweet colors.
I was just thinking that the green and the blue. I don't know what that reminds. It's just right.
Anya Balino is a defenseman for the Connecticut Whale. Nice to see you. We finally worked this out.
I know. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here talking to you guys.
For a couple of months, we've been going back and forth on Twitter. We've been exchanging messages, and finally we worked it out. The NWHL and Anya joining us. And, I sent you a note this morning saying I could understand if you don't want to come on today after the events of yesterday.
Yeah, we had a big loss yesterday against the Buffalo Buttes. So they're going on the road to the Isabel Cup, and we're going to cheer them on. It was a good game. It was a great series. It was a lot of fun. We brought it to 3 games. But at the end of the day, they came out with a little bit more grit, and they had a hot goalie, and that's what you need going into playoffs, so it's going to be good for them.
Tell us your background. How did you get to this point?
So for me, I was just joking around. I played high school hockey. I played AA. I'm from Massachusetts, so it was a big hockey area. Then, my junior year, I signed with Boston University. Ended up playing there for a few years and then left, played for the Canadian Women's Hockey League, played pro out in Canada. And then this league started up. Had the opportunity to make some money and play and kind of represent my hometown and where I'm from. And it felt right to start getting involved with a U.S.-based league. So I was signed with Connecticut, started my season here, and now, a short 6 months later, I'm talking about postseason play.
Don.
That's a remarkable story. Now, how was it? because you were actually in the studio when we were looking at some of the highlights from the state playoffs. It's got to be night and day now. Like when you started playing, girls hockey must have been a lot different than it is now, as far as like the numbers participating and the way it's covered.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just saying I've never seen kind of anything like that where people are analyzing girls hockey in high school. I was an 8th grader and I got a waiver to play, and I was the 2nd year of hockey at Waltham. So Waltham High had just invited women's hockey to start joining up. We had a locker room, we had like all these fun amenities, but we were honestly a group of girls that just wanted to play the sport, and it wasn't great. I wasn't anything to come watch, but it was so much fun, and we were all playing on different teams, and anyone that kind of had any potential were playing AA, and so it was a little bit different in a sense, but Massachusetts is so great for hockey that we had the fans, we had the bodies. I came up as an 8th grader, so I played varsity my whole 5 years. I ended up grossing something like 390 points. Hockey was different. If you could play, you stood out like a sore thumb. So it was a much different world. I think now it would be a little bit more challenging, but to watch it grow, that's the best part for me. That's why I'm here. That's why I did the whole pro hockey and advocating and connecting and doing all these things, because it's taking off like wildfire, and I love to see it.
Now, I was going to ask also, you had mentioned that, obviously when you first started, girls hockey had just started in Massachusetts. Then you get to a national program like Boston University. Had to be a tremendous step up, and yet you were able to excel there and then to play professionally. Talk about like just how big of a difference there is from high school to Boston U and now professional.
Yeah, so just to put it in perspective here, I left Waltham High School playing the entire game. I had a water bottle on the goalie net, and I'd have some sips of water. I'd take a penalty or two for a break, obviously. And then my roommate, when I first got to Boston University, was Marie-Philippe Poulin. She had a gold medal. So she's leaving the Olympic Games in Vancouver, and I'm leaving my high school rink in Waltham, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe we're on a different level. Maybe we've seen hockey at a different level. So it was a little different, but it was the difference maker between night and day. It was the entire game of women's hockey flipped on its head. And so for me, I went from the best player in the very small pond to working at just competing. I had to work to just be able to compete. And so that was, for me, the hardest part, was trying to get out of my head, like, oh, I'm great, I committed D1, like, pat on the back for me, to showing up and saying, oh my gosh, I can't even keep up with the level of play. So it was a very tough transition, but going from high school to college was a whole nother world, and then going from college to pros is a whole nother world, because it's the best player on every college team. So it's every single time you get another jump and another notch on your belt, and you're going a little bit higher and you're pushing a little bit further. So I think every year I've gotten a lot better. So it does change the game. It is so crazy to watch.
How has the reaction been to the NWHL?
From the player's perspective or from the fans?
Well, we'll start with your perspective.
Yeah, I've noticed, we've never felt like we had a home where we could go and kind of shake loose and feel supported, and I think that's what the NW does. It gives you a good blanket of people that you can call if you have a problem, or if you want to talk about something, or if you need new skates, or, that never existed. We couldn't say, hey, my stick broke, give me a new one, I need one. They'd say, go to Pure Hockey and buy one. And so now we have that support system, and it's so great to have a home where we're being treated like our professional male counterparts, to like the T of 1% of their salary. However, we get there, we're getting there, slowly but surely, and so that has been a great support system, as well as the fans have totally embraced us, and that's my favorite part, because they don't look at me and say, oh, you're a women's hockey player, good for you. It's so nice to meet you. It's so nice to have a role model for my child. It's so nice to be able to watch your games. It's such a high level of hockey. And so on both fronts, we're just feeling like it was a great success this year.
And I was about to ask you that. You just touched on something I was about to ask about, which was that, which was about role models and things like that. I've got an 8-year-old daughter, and it must feel great to see families and young girls in the stands.
Yeah, and what's so funny is I always expect young girls, little girls with hockey jerseys. But this year we had so many boys walking up with our posters and asking for an autograph, and they don't look at it like we're girls and we're worse.
You're hockey players.
We're hockey players.
Yeah.
Right. And so I always say that this year we found a way to drop the word women out of our title. I don't have to go up to someone and say, hi, I'm a women's professional hockey player, because you can look at me, hopefully clearly tell I'm a woman, and you don't have to say that. So we have this great ability to say, I'm a hockey player. And watching little kids get excited about our game or see us in the rink and notice our bag and say, oh my gosh, you play for the Connecticut Whale. That's where I'm finding that's my proud moment. You know, I always would look up to the U.S. Olympic players because that was our highest caliber of player that we could watch. So I was a little kid following Courtney Kennedy around the BU rink, like, give me your autograph, oh my gosh. And now there's pros. So I'm not surpassing high school, college, Olympics. There's pro in between there. And a lot of the pro players are making that Olympic team and using this as their place to train, and it's so great to watch that as well.
And you also had media coverage. I know your games were broadcast because I know your broadcaster, Phil Jubilee, is a friend of mine, and he does a great job calling games. It's absolute NHL quality. So you've got that going as well, and the coverage was great. I mean, there really was a professional feeling, plus there was a Winter Classic edge to it, wasn't there?
Yes, so we had the capability of playing our Canadian counterpart. So this is the big duel, right? You have the Canadian League and the U.S. League, and we're always fighting, duking it out, who's going to be better. And then it was like a grace from God. We had the NHL reach out and say, how about we mirror the NHL game? And we said, oh my gosh, yes, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so having people even think about us, having that be front of mind is where we're stepping up, because the Canadian League does have a team from Boston and Montreal. But we have a team from Boston as well, and they didn't say, hey, CWHL, put your two teams in. They said, let's do something here. Let's connect you guys in some type of way, and that was really exciting. We also had Nesson and ESPN3 and Cross Ice Pass online streaming, Phil, we had AJ Malesko, we had so many people that were able to help us with the broadcasting aspect of it, and it was a rave success. We had people watching from the UK even. We're getting tweets from the UK, and I'm thinking to myself, the fact that we can touch lives that far is so amazing. We had people road tripping from St. Louis and Alabama and all these places to watch our games, because we're doing such a great job of saying, hey, you can watch us. Wherever you are, however you can, watch us. We're going to let you kind of experience the feeling, and that was a lot of fun.
It had to be surreal.
Yeah, definitely was.
Oh, no, I was going to comment.
I don't want to take over here, Don.
No, I was just going to comment on what you said earlier about taking a penalty to get a breather. You know, the viewers might think she was kidding. She wasn't. She was watching those highlights and saying, ooh, slash.
Yeah, oh yeah. I
was wondering about that too. What you saw, and did you like the quality of what you were seeing?
Yeah, and it's fun to watch women's hockey. It's fun to watch girls hockey. And when high school hockey starts getting competitive, because when I was playing, it was 10-0. It was blowout games. It was either the team could compete or they couldn't. You know, they had a freshman goalie that just started playing that year, or they didn't. And so now watching girls train from a young age and playing hockey all the way up, it's so interesting. A game 2-1, that would have never happened when I was in high school. So it's so different, but at the same time, when you watch those girls be able to enrich themselves and learn and play together for a long period of time, it's such a fun atmosphere. So it's good to see. I love watching high school hockey.
You talked about being an advocate to a certain extent and being a role model. And here in Connecticut, girls hockey is not considered a CIAC sport. It's not an official state sport. What can you do? What can your teammates do? What can the league do to inspire more girls to get involved in girls hockey?
I think the biggest difference maker between somebody that's going to go try out for the team and somebody that's going to just kind of play on the pond by themselves is confidence. The more we show girls and kids and anyone that if they want to try something, they absolutely can. I have a very unconventional path where I didn't go to prep school, or I didn't have a skating coach, or I didn't have all of these opportunities. I made them. I wanted to play high school hockey. That's all I wanted. I said, I want to play high school hockey just like my brother. So I said, I'm going to do everything I can to get to that pinnacle. I get to that stage of the game, and then I go, okay, maybe I'll play Division III. I start playing my freshman, my sophomore year. I started getting D1 looks, and I'm thinking, okay, I could do that too. So I'm going, okay, now D1. And so all of these periods, these new gates became available, and I'm jumping over and trying to get there, and I'm fighting against the grain. But it's all confidence. If a girl wants to go learn how to play a sport, she can. She wants to go play soccer, if she wants to play field hockey, if she wants to play football, if she wants to play hockey. All of these things should be open for them to try. Not because they're girls and they should have more opportunity,
right,
but because they're kids, and kids like to play sports. And when it comes down to it, hockey's a fun sport. And I'd be lying to say I'd have a bad day at school and I wouldn't go hit someone in the corner. And I'm thinking, all right, that was cool, like I'm good now, you know? And so hockey gives you a nice avenue to let some of that out in a safe and in a fun environment. So I think that a lot of times when we talk about why isn't it accepted statewide or nationwide or anything like that, it's just confidence. You have to let girls go out and be athletes. They don't have to be female athletes. They don't have to be girls high school players. They just have to be able to train and perform like athletes.
I'd like to just see us think of everyone as athletes.
I do too.
Bottom line. What's next?
For me, I work in Connecticut. I work in sales. As you can tell, I love to talk, so it's so much fun. So I do that, and then, you know, all of us are looking at it. Are we going to re-sign with the team we're on? Are we going to try to move? Are we going to move away from the sport? And for me, it's been a hard couple hours. I was going to say days, but it hasn't been days yet. It's been a tough time trying to figure out, do I keep playing or have I done it? You know, I don't know when I can draw the line and say, okay, I've done it, or I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
And there's so much more to go, and there's so much more we need to do for the sport and for girls and players of girls hockey in general. And I'm trying to figure out, do I do that as an athlete, or do I do that as a support system, or do I do that as a leader of a foundation, or, you know, something. So I'm trying to figure out where my niche is right now, and that's the hardest part for me. I have fans, I have family members, I have everyone. What are you doing next year? When are you resigning? And it's like, I don't know. I don't know if that's my place. And so, you know, now it's definitely a tougher decision-making, sit down and really think about your life, but I can't see letting this mission go without completing it.
And you fought some injuries this year too, right?
I did. I thank the Lord, knock on wood, it wasn't that bad comparatively. I have 2 herniated discs, and I had torn my hip flexor. So it was a long uphill battle to get where I was, but I ended up playing in one of our games this weekend. So I made it to postseason play. I was so lucky to have such a strong support system with the league, helping my personal training and everything like that. So that was such a huge support, as well as some of the players that don't have that luxury. One of my close friends, Donald Eng, didn't get the capability to have that, so her injury was a lot more severe. Now we have an organization set up to donate, and it's donaldeng.org, and if you have, you know, any time, just look at her story. She's such an empowering young woman. She's taken such a challenging, not even problem, it's just a challenging situation, and turned it into an absolute win for herself, for hockey, for so many people, and I think that was crazy. So I was injured. A lot of us faced a lot of injuries, but no one faced it nearly as gracefully as Dena did.
Can we get you to come back another time?
Absolutely.
Boy, this was fun because we could talk a lot longer.
Yeah, we'll bring her here. Have her bring the Isobel Cup. What is it?
The Isabel Cup.
Isabel.
Well, I have to win it first, and then I'll bring it.
Saying. Bring it back next year.
I will say this: whether you play or not, hockey needs the likes of you. You are great for the sport.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. It's been a lot of fun talking with you, and we will do it again.
Dynamite.
We've got to take a break here. We'll come back. Don and I will wrap up the show right after this on the HAN Network.
Denali is your outdoor retail destination in the Westfield Trumbull Mall. For the last 21 years, we have carefully selected clothing, footwear, and gear from a variety of the best outdoor brands, such as the North Face, Patagonia, Vineyard Vines, UGG, Merrell, GoPro, New Balance, and many more. Our stores have a friendly, knowledgeable staff to help you with all of your running, hiking, and cold weather needs, and in discovering all things outdoorsy and awesome. Visit us in the Westfield Trumbull Mall or online at denalioutdoor.com.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express, open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
Do you do a lot of running around but get nowhere when you're buying a car? Visit Pamby Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram for the one-stop buying experience and stop spinning your wheels.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your time-saving local shopping destination for the best of spring. Find many of your favorite products, from great specials on everyday items to the freshest organic produce, artisanal cheeses, and grass-fed steaks. Drop off your knives to be sharpened, grab a beautiful bouquet of spring flowers, and stop in next door for a wine tasting. Plus, their personable staff is always ready to lend a helping hand. So stop in to Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street today, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter, and I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
You are watching the HAN network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcasts in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Back with you on Nutmeg Sports. Our thanks to Anya. She was just great. We'll have her back on. And I tweeted this the other night to the two teams that played in the girls' state championship, and the same goes for Anya. Girls hockey. There was an article that came out last week by Doug Bonjour, who's a terrific writer, but Doug is finding that the numbers are declining in girls hockey in Connecticut. We need more of Anya and people like her. The two teams that took part in the state championship over the weekend, New Canaan as well, has a good program. I want to see girls hockey go big. I do.
Right, because you know there's athletes out there that want to play.
Yep.
All they need is the opportunity and just that little push, that little bit of encouragement and a little bit of confidence, as she said, to get out on the ice.
And back to the point of just referring to them as athletes.
Athletes, hockey players.
Just hockey players. Have it be that. All right, let's talk about the state basketball tournament. It's going to get underway this week, as well as the state hockey tournament. It's again. Great time of year for all kinds of athletics, and of course us coming off the FCAC tournament as well. It's a great time for us. So let's dive into tournaments and athletes of the week. We got to do that as well. So you know what? Let's do our duty and do athletes of the week first.
Athletes of the week first. Okay, first off, hang on 1 second. I will be ready in 1 second. We have, we might as well start with last week, the athletes of the week on the boys' side. Congratulations to Jeff Priscilla. Ridgefield Hockey pulling in an impressive 46% of the vote. Kieran Smith second, and Jack Moore third. But Jeff Priscilla of Ridgefield, your athlete of the week, boys.
On the other side, Adneris de Jesus of Greenwich Gymnastics with 24% of the vote. She is your winner of the athlete of the week. She was followed up by Tiana England of Stanford Basketball. The FCAC MVP had 18% of the vote. Emily Giannunzio from Darien Ice Hockey came in third with 13% of the vote. That was then. Now to this week.
We start off on the boys' side. Terrell Cunningham, Danbury Track and Field. The junior had a first and a fourth place finish in the New England Interscholastic Indoor Track Championship. He also anchored the Hatters 4x800 team, which was fourth in 121.46.
As we're into overtime, we'll kind of fly through these nominees. Jeremy Fields of Danbury Wrestling is up next. He captured the 138-pound championship at the New England Wrestling Championships in Providence.
Tyler Green, Trumbull Track and Field, is next. He won the 600 meters at the New England Indoor.
Tristan Haviland of Trumbull Wrestling wrestled to the 113-pound championship at the very same New England Wrestling Championships I just referred to.
And then we stay with wrestling. Charlie Kane captured the 145-pound championships in New England. His brother Tim picked up another championship. He won the 132-pound title. Charlie and Tim Kane of Ward.
Absolutely true. To Mike Mosian of Greenwich High, of course. He had 2 goals and an assist to lead the Cardinals to a 5-0 victory over St. Joseph. And, of course, Greenwich's first championship in the FCAC since 2009.
Parrish Rowell of West Hill Boys Basketball, MVP, leading the Vikings to the FCAC championship.
Eric Vanderels of Brian McMahon Track and Field is up next. He finished second in the 2-mile run during the New England Interscholastic Indoor Track and Field Championships in Boston on February 28th.
And finally, Ryan Wilson, St. Joseph sophomore goalie, stonewalled the Darien Blue Wave, leading St. Joseph to the FCAC finals.
On to the ladies we go. Marissa Baker is up first. The winning goal as Darien knocked off ETB 2-1 in the state championship game back on Saturday.
Staples senior Hannah DeBalzi, Track and Field, won the 2-mile championship for the 4th straight year at the New England Indoor Track and Fields.
Trying to think, have we had a repeat champion? Well, we could have one this week. Adneris de Jesus finished second in the all-around at Saturday's State Open Gymnastics Championship at New Milford.
Tiana England of Stanford Basketball racked up 30 points as the Black Knights beat Ridgefield 65-32 in Class AA.
Emily Giannunzio, 30 saves. Darien won the championship, of course, over ETB on Saturday. A half dozen of those saves, including one from point-blank range, when ETB had a 2-man advantage during a power play with the goalie pulled in the closing moments.
New Canaan ice hockey player Catherine Granito had 2 goals, including the game winner, as New Canaan topped Hall Connor co-op 3-2 in the state quarters.
Jada Harris of St. Joseph Track and Field captured the 55-meter hurdles at Reggie Lewis Center in Boston on the 28th.
Shania Osborne, Fairfield Ward basketball, had 14 points as the Mustangs beat Ludlow in the Class XL tournament.
Ward, by the way, will play Greenwich, and that's where our final nominee comes in, Abby Wolf of Greenwich basketball. They'll meet tonight. Wolf led the 10th-seeded Cardinals with a double-double as they won at number 10 Southington 56-52 in the second round. Abby had 18 points, 12 boards, and 6 blocks. There are your Athletes of the Week nominees. Go vote for them at han.network. Get those votes going. A little low. Want to see lots of participation there on the Athletes of the Week.
Seriously, go vote for him. He'll know if you don't.
Yes, I will. I will be looking at the numbers, as a matter of fact. Quickly to the brackets before we say goodbye. And, you're looking now into Division I hockey. You're looking at Class XL, looking at all the boys basketball, girls basketball, getting a little deeper into their tournament as well. I mentioned Ward and Greenwich playing later tonight. Crosby has already moved on to the second round in L due to Shelton's forfeit. Of course, it goes as a 2-0 win. But, you've got West Hill and Ludlow playing in the opening round. You've got Stanford Greenwich is intriguing. Yep. Anytime you got an all-FCAC matchup, there's something to talk about. I don't know that Staples can stay with Danbury, but hey, that's why they play the games, and you've got that familiarity.
They do. And the game, and then for the other FCAC teams, we have Hamden playing McMahon in a 15-18 game. You would expect that to be competitive, as would the 16-17 West Hill and Fairfield Ludlow playing in the first round. My general sense is that Danbury is going to take that game. I mean, you just have to look at the regular season and figure that. But intriguing matchups up and down the brackets, particularly as we move into the second round.
Unless a lower seed can really make some noise, Danbury almost strikes me as that team that has the FCAC's best chance to go far in this bracket.
They do, and the bracket for them is not really too bad until you get to the third round, where a likely matchup with Wilbur Cross is looming should they get past that. Then you're looking at Hill House, but when you get into the semifinals, it's supposed to be hard.
It is supposed to be hard, and that's the way you look at all these brackets. I know Wilton is in the Class L bracket. They might be okay, at least in the beginning. As for M, you've got St. Joseph out there. So there are the teams out there in these brackets. We can't go through them all and break them all down, but boys brackets will be getting underway very much this week. And on the other side, in hockey, there are some really good, especially Division I. There's some very intriguing Division I matchups.
Well, first off, FCAC champ Greenwich takes on Ridgefield in another interleague rematch. Greenwich, the 5 seed, finished 16-4, and then took the FCAC championship. The other thing that I find interesting is you have the Xavier West Haven matchup at the top of the bracket. That's a 1-16, a couple of SCC teams. The winner of that gets rewarded with Fairfield Prep or Glastonbury from that 8-9 matchup. So we're going to get some very good competitive games right off the bat.
You play the games for a reason again, but Notre Dame of West Haven, the 2 seed, I want to see what they do. A 2-3 matchup, Notre Dame of West Haven and Darien, is possible at Ingalls Rink in the semifinals. Might need a media credential for that one.
That should be a good one. Notre Dame, one of only 3 teams to beat Darien during the regular season. And Notre Dame, I wouldn't count out a Notre Dame Fairfield team in the second round, though. Notre Dame West Haven, I'm pretty confident, can take care of business against East Catholic. Notre Dame Fairfield will play that SGWL co-op in the first round. Those 2 Notre Dames likely in the second. Darien, I think they're a little bit better than Simsbury. We've seen them play St. Joseph. That would be an intriguing revenge game if that game happens in the second round. And then it's on to Ingalls.
Ingalls is so great, and I can't wait for that process as well. In Division II, you've got the Fairfield Co-op team to talk about there. They've got Watertown Pomperog to get things started. And then from there, it's anyone's game beyond that. Those brackets tend to be a little more wide open. Division III, you've got Norwalk McMahon opening up with New Fairfield Immaculate tonight. That's a little bit of a tougher sell. But you've also got locally Joel Barlow as well as the Staples West and Shelton team.
Right.
So,
and then the West Hill Stamford co-op taking on, I'm drawing a blank here, the Red Hawks.
The Red Hawks, exactly right. Staples West and Shelton's not a bad team. You could, it's a big leap of faith, but you could have 3 FCAC champions. I'm telling you right now, it could be done.
You'd have to like Darien in the in Division I. I personally would probably pick North Branford in Division II. It's a straight chalk pick, I understand, but it's definitely possible. It's a solid possibility.
I will say this: if Fairfield gets the goaltending and they get Jake Fuss on track, look out. Look out. They'll be really good in that tournament.
Right. Well, that
They'll
Fairfield
be
co-op was
really
competitive
good.
against Division I squads, so certainly once they get with the Division II tournament, it's you do like their chances.
All right, Don, we've played into overtime and we've fired it right past the goalie. I guess we got to get on out of here. But to use a football note for a minute, Peyton Manning, one heck of a career. Just have to say that.
I'm going to say
one of the best I've ever seen.
We played past the goalie. We're going to go into a penalty kick, something like that. What are we?
Well, I had to stick, since Anya's still here, I got to stay with the hockey metaphors. It works. But with all that said, that'll do it for Nutmeg Sports. Our thanks to Anya for coming on in and joining us today. Had a lot of fun talking not only hockey with her, but athletics with her in general. We'll have her back on the show. Thanks to Eric Gendron for directing. For the entire crew here, we'll see you tomorrow. Looks like we will have another guest with us tomorrow. Tom Keys. We'll likely have him on phone. For Donald Eng, I'm Rob Adams. Enjoy your Monday coffee break tomorrow at 11. But for now, thanks for watching Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. So long, everyone.